Have you ever had something that happened to you, whether it was of your own fault or somebody else's, a situation that stressed you out so bad that you ruminated over, that you lost sleep over, that you stressed about for maybe hours, days, or weeks on end, and maybe even years, that could have been something that you probably couldn't have prevented, that might have just happened anyways. And it stressed you out so much that you still think about it every now and then, that you still wonder about it. Hi, my name is Dr. Rachel Gilmore, and I am a doctor, I am a speaker, and I am so many more things. And I am here to empower you to live your life through better mental strength, mental resiliency, and total empowerment over your life so that you can not only perform better, feel better, but so that you can live a better quality of life. I'm coming to you completely raw and unfiltered today. I'm actually about to do a little bit of work. I've been out in a hot parking lot sweating, and I'm gonna bring you a story and why this is so important. So as somebody in my life that has struggled with things like anxiety, and even sharing this and recording myself on video right now actually makes me a little bit nervous. So I'm gonna meet you completely where I'm at, with no filter, barely any makeup on, and completely raw and vulnerable today for a personal experience where I can take you along my journey of where I used to be and where I would have been in the situation that just happened to me a little bit ago, and where I'm at now and what that's given me in my life. Yes, I own the Foundation Chiropractic. You can't see my shirt. Yes, I'm a chiropractor, but that's only a title for me. That's only a license at this point, and it is a vehicle for me to be able to come to you and share knowledge and experience and what helps really change the lives of my patients, like it can for you as well. So let's get into it a little bit, shall we? Like I said, as a recovering, we'll say anxiety struggler, full probably diagnosed anxiety in my history, never actually went the medical route with it, did years of counseling, years of struggle, and years of healing trauma, and up until now have struggled with it in the past. You can use these things as your superpower. And why is this so important? Why does this have anything to do with your mental strength and with performing and living a better life and things like that? It's a great question. And I ask myself this question: how am I going to handle this? How am I going to use this as fuel to not only help me, but now it helps hundreds, thousands, and hopefully millions of people one day heal from the same struggles like I did, that can be healed without medication. I was never medicated. Through a little bit of counseling. I said years of counseling, so through a little bit of counseling, but mostly through the deep inner work and physical work that I have done myself as a chronic pain patient of 17 years. Now, we're not going to get into that story. If you're curious about that, I've got another video, the second one on my channel. Go back and check that out. It's talking about awareness and about my journey and how I use that to help people through my practice and through what is coming to you in the near future. So, what happened today? Why am I a little rattled? Why am I coming to you right now on camera in the peak of this moment, or right after this moment? Because a lot of revelation sometimes happens in moments and times of stress in our life. And if we really lean into those moments and see what that stressful event might be teaching us, see what it may have taught us about our current self versus our past self, and we learn from it, then those moments can be the life-changing moments for you and in your life. So what happened to me today? I got rear-ended. I'm listening to a Zoom call for a group of people that I absolutely adore, that is a free course that I'm taking, and I'm on a Zoom call, and I'm paying attention. I'm stopped at a red light. It's got a green light there. There's no arrow, and I'm waiting for an opening, just like anybody else. People drive crazy nowadays. People get in a hurry. People are on their phones. People are not thinking about anything. They're stressed. They're distracted. They're not aware. This is why I'm bringing this story to you. And I had somebody slam into my back end. I'm talking, I thought I was gonna get out of that car and look and see the back end of my car absolutely crushed. Absolutely crushed. I saw the other car first as I turned around to look at my own, and I'm taking pictures, and unfortunately If the guy's out there watching this one day, then I hope he learned something from this video to be a little bit more aware of your surroundings, but it happens to all of us. It happens to all of us. I didn't have it in me to do anything more than call the local police department and say, hey, can you put this on file? Because the person didn't have insurance, unfortunately. There's a little personal responsibility lesson in this, but that's not why we're here today. That's not why we're here. I could talk about that all day long, but then I'd ruminate over a situation that I cannot change. So did I have damage on my car? I'll put a picture of it right here. There was no damage on my car. I'm shaking trying to get the guy's information before I actually look at my car. And I look at my car and I realize that there's no damage there. There's no damage there. Yeah, the hit of adrenaline, the physical hit of getting hit, probably brought back some trauma for me. Those of you that don't know, I had a car accident story, and that's kind of what has led me to my life today. I'll put the link to the video at the end of this video so that you can go check out a little bit about my story. Because like I said, that's not the purpose of why we're here today. Me in the past could have ruminated about this situation for months. Could have let it wreck my entire day. I asked you in the very beginning if you've got something in your life that you're thinking of, and it might be even stressing you out right now, that you're thinking of an experience that somebody did to you, or something that you were a part of, or something that happened to you. What if it happened for you? What if it happened as a lesson, even if it's a bad thing? Sometimes things happen. People make mistakes. Life situations happen to all of us. So how was I able to snap myself back out of that? Years of practice, that's one way. But becoming aware of your own thoughts and actions and emotions and your reactions surrounding things like this. You can only control what you do. I was just sitting at a red light. I didn't get stressed out as bad as I could have. Had a little bit of an adrenaline reaction, and we're going to talk about why, if you're somebody that's anxious and that has trouble controlling that and harnessing that and using that to your own advantage, could be a bad thing for you to have things like stimulants and more adrenaline coming in when you're not sure how to interpret that for your own betterment and for your performance and for your life to be better than just being an anxious ball of mess all of the time. I stopped. I reminded myself that, like I said, I had no control. I calmly started breathing in my car, put the window down, put my arm out so that I could feel the air coming through the window. And I just was. You can only just be in the present moment. If you follow me for any length of time, you're gonna know that mental resiliency and anxiety and things like that, and talking about how to overcome this with my patients, with people that I meet, with my friends, with my family, with anybody that'll listen to me at this point, hopefully millions of you one day, why this is so important to me. Because I remembered in that moment what the past me would have done. How I would have handled it. How I'm handling it now comparatively. And it's an amazing thing when you can be so aware of who you were and who you are now in this situation, in this present moment that is the only one like this that you're going to have, how you're different. And I want that for all of you. That's why I'm coming on today, sharing this with you today, because I want that empowerment for all of you. So let's hone in on a couple things that I mentioned there and just elaborate a little bit on this so that I can give you a couple practical tools today that you can implement and start doing. Hopefully you've already got a couple things from this video so far that can start the process of changing your life. So I'm going to give you 4 to 5 practical tips that you can do, especially if you are an anxious person, if you're somebody that's dealing with pain, if you just stress out about things in your life. So really any of you. We all go through stress. Stress is a killer. I talked about this on my Instagram stories. If you're not following me, find me at Dr. Rachel Gilmore and follow along the journey, because I share little tips like this all of the time. So the first one that I already hit on pretty well is be in the present moment. If you're a fan of any philosophers or of Eckhart Tolle, or anybody like that, you may have already heard this. The power of now is one of my favorites. And this I'm going to tie in with another one as well. Because if we're anxious, we're living in the future. We're worrying. We're worrying about things that we can't control. We are not living in the moment and in the now of what we can control in ourselves. We're not. If we're depressed, we're living in the past, worrying about things that happened, worrying about things that we did, ruminating on what we could have done better. In this very moment right now, there is nothing that you can change about the past. If it's an apology, if it's something that you need to write, that's a little bit different, but you can't change it. We can go forward and act differently. And just like anxiety, if we're not worrying about the what ifs, about the possible things that could happen, the situations. Now, I'm all about projecting into the future. And even with my practice, we can predict sometimes things that may happen. There are only so many things that you can predict. And one of those things is what you do. You can take back your control by being present. And by the second one here, controlling your own reactions through awareness. I mentioned I knew what the past me would have done because I did it in an endless cycle over and over and over again for years, to the point where it affected my relationships, it affected me in school, test taking, it affected my levels of anxiety, before a practical exam. I mean, I could name you hundreds of situations where this affected my life, where I did not realize how much it affected me. We don't usually realize it until somebody pointed it out to me, or somebody points it out to you. I had a counselor point it out to me. She said the control that you want in your life, the why you do so many things, why you're always taking on these other things and these research projects and this and that. And procrastination is another form of it. If you're out there listening to this and you're saying, wow, it sounds kind of like me. I would take on all of these things. I would procrastinate on things that I didn't want to do. And that's an entirely different conversation. Or wait until the last minute because you're so anxious about sitting there, being present and doing the thing that scares you. Because when we lean into the thing that scares us, it's scary. Your brain may send out a fight or flight in the form of stress and anxiety. It's a nervous system response. It's a nervous system response. And we're going to talk about that here in a second. But the thing that you can do is to control you and the way that you react. Like I said, I could have gotten myself so stressed out about the situation and so upset that I couldn't think clearly, that I was crying. I get mad usually. That's how it comes out with me. I get mad, I get frustrated, and then I ruminate over that, and then I go back and back and back and back through that situation in that endless loop again. Couldn't control it. I couldn't control that he didn't stop. But I could control the way that I reacted, the way that I calmly reacted. And this is not a major situation. Nobody was hurt. There are things that are other situations that it may take you just a little bit to try to harness that back to yourself and bring that power back within. But if we let all of that energy go, like with our breath, which is number 3, and we let that stress and everything that we control go out, then all of a sudden, you're back present again. If you're out there and you want to try this with me right now, take a deep breath in through your nose. All the way in, breathe it in, breathe it in, breathe it in as far as you can go. Hold at the top and let it out. Do it a couple times if you need to. Your breath can bring you back to the now. To the now. Your breath and activating your diaphragm deep within can help regulate your nervous system. When we're in anxiety and worry and stress all the time, your sympathetic nervous system is in a state of fight or flight, but we're not running from a bear. We're not running from a bear. We didn't just get hit by a car. We're sitting in a desk or at an office or at home or with our kids or with our spouse or at work or whatever situation you're in. No, like a mentor said of mine, nobody's shooting at you. Nobody's shooting at you. And if somebody is shooting at you, then I urge you to get to safety. I hope you're not watching this video in that case. Well, sometimes a little humor helps us, right? Sometimes a little humor helps us. But it can be an escape mechanism as well, too. But that breath that helps you regulate your nervous system, that brings you back down into a sense of homeostasis that your body so desperately desires, can help you to be able to think clearly, to be aware, to control the reaction that you may have had by jumping to conclusions and by worrying and by being so freaked out about everything all the time that you're like this and you're just shaking. Or you're stressed, or you're constantly angry and constantly mad and constantly lashing out, or constantly self-destructing. We'll talk about that one day. I told you I've got a lot to share with you guys. I told you that on the first video. So let's just recap a little bit, shall we? Let's just recap. One is being in the present moment. It's all you can control. And by being in the present moment, number 2 is you can control your reactions. Bring that power back deep inside through number 3, which is the breath. Calm yourself. Bring yourself back to center again. Give yourself the gift of having that power within you. That feeling of empowerment when you do something really cool. Think of a cool experience when you just felt on top of the world, felt like you couldn't, nothing could tear you down. Because things are going to tear us down from time to time. Things are going to happen. You may be a little anxious from time to time, but if you're somebody like me that struggled with this for years, all of these things are things that I've added into my daily practice along with other lifestyle tools we'll talk about, like meditation and stretching and yoga and exercise and, all sorts of things, journaling, making videos like this. It's therapeutic. If I can help you and give you something tangible that you can take into your life, it's meaningful, right? Feels good to help somebody. A 4th little mini one that I'm going to throw in here is don't worry about what you can't control. Like I said before, you cannot control other people. You cannot control the weather. You can't control what your kids do, what your spouse does, or anything like that. But you can control what you do, what you think about, what you consume, your habits, your daily actions, your reactions. And the last one that I'm going to leave you with today, probably the most important, is that over time, by instilling this new awareness and this new sense of a little bit of self-control and empowerment, you can actually begin to change your brain structure and wiring and the habits that you exhibit through that. Now you're doing the habits, you're creating these new thought patterns and this new reality, if you will. I go into that a little bit on the first couple of videos that I did. Over time, studies have shown that the brain can change. It's called neuroplasticity. And it is a real thing. You can become an entirely different person to yourself. You can change your habits. I told you earlier when I first started this video that I saw what the old self, what the old me, what the old Rachel, who is still the same physical body, a little different, got a little bit more muscle now, a little bit different, but what the old self would have done. And the awareness that I've harnessed and brought back into me to be able to give to other people has given me the revelation that I'm no longer that person anymore. It is possible for your body to heal. It is possible for your mind to heal and for your soul to heal. And if we bring all of these things together and give you that sense of empowerment and awareness in your life, watch your life change. Thank you so much for joining me today. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments below or reach out to me. I'm going to put my contact information in the video show notes. And in order to be able to help more of you and to put out more content and reach more of you, if you like this video, give it a like, subscribe to my channel for more videos like this one or other topics in the future. And I wish you a very blessed and wonderful day and weekend. We will talk soon.